Hi, and welcome to the Confidence Couch. I'm your host, Julia Dickinson, and each week I answer your questions in the hope that you find the confidence you need to make a difference in your life. Hi, and welcome back to episode 3. Already, how exciting. Well, it is for me anyway, so there you go. This week's episode, actually, on that note, I just wanted to say before I get started that we all struggle with confidence. Whether we're really confident or have no confidence, we all struggle with a lack of it here, there, and everywhere. So one of the ways that I do that for myself is like before filming this episode. So although yes, this is my third go at it now, so my confidence is growing in front of the camera, and a lot of that is about self-acceptance, that hey Julia, you're not perfect, you're never going to be perfect, but all you can do is show up and be the best version of yourself today. And I can say that with confidence. So, and one of the ways, so getting back to one of the ways that I prepare myself is that I've got my favorite perfume on, Izumiyaki. You can't smell it, but I can, and that makes me feel good. So that aside, that's just a little tip for you from what I do for myself. I want to start this episode with a quote from a very famous person, Theodore Roosevelt. So, comparison is the thief of joy. What does that mean? I think you could probably figure it out. But we all struggle with comparison syndrome. So what is it thieving our joy? So we're constantly comparing ourselves to social media, to what we see as everybody else's best version of themselves, but we don't ever really get to see behind the scenes and what's going on when the cameras aren't rolling, or the iPhone's not taking the pictures, or the filters are turned off, whatever way you want to look at it. And this happens in life as well. It's not just social media, but most people, we compare ourselves to their best version. So in saying that, so comparison is the thief of joy, this week's question comes from Jacinta, who is 29 and lives in Queensland. Thank you, Jacinta, for your question, because you are not alone. Like most of the questions that I am starting to receive is that we're all feeling these things. So, sorry, my printer's in the background distracting me. So the question is, how do you constantly stop comparing yourself? How do you stop constantly comparing yourself and your life to others? I find I get caught in a lot of negative self-talk because I feel I'm not good enough, and it just spirals from there. Yeah. And if we continually look out and externally, that's the result we're going to get. Because as I said, if we're comparing ourselves to everybody else's, or what we think is going on for other people, because remember, at the end of the day, really, honestly, we've got no idea what's going on for people. We can only tell ourselves a story about what we think is going on for people. So where does the comparison that's natural within each of us come from? So when we're little, we are little sponges taking on beliefs and all these programs and our parents, and then as we get older, we've got society and culture, and depending on what culture you grow up in, that can impact the sorts of comparisons that you make about yourself with other people. And at the end of the day, what Jacinta said is her desired outcome, which I think is all of our desired outcome, which is being confident within ourselves and who we are, knowing I am enough and my life is unique to me, to love myself and my life enough to not be concerned or comparing to external parties. It actually sounds to me, Jacinta, like you've done a bit of work on this already, because I think you get the concept at a conscious level, but it's the unconscious level and that stuff that's running underneath that seems to just be in conflict with what you know to be true up here. But then there's this conflict going underneath because you've got this subconscious program running, doing the comparing. So yeah, how do you get around that? Well, it's a practice. It's a daily practice of being grateful now, being grateful for what you have, where you're at, and having that in the forefront of your mind. And the funny thing is, you get more of what you focus on. So the more grateful you can be and the more at peace you can be in this moment, right here, right now, it's almost like an antidote from looking outside and seeing what everybody else is up to and how they're traveling, because you almost don't have that need. And we all know we should be grateful. We're told since we're little, be grateful for what you have. But honestly, as a daily practice, as a conscious daily practice, gratitude is incredibly powerful. It can get you out of the lowest of low funks. Now, there's a couple of ways. There's a daily gratitude practice. And how do you practice gratitude daily on a conscious level? You can get a journal and you can each day write 3 to 5 things that you are incredibly grateful for that day. It doesn't actually have to be massive. It can just be that you got out of bed this morning with a smile on your face. It could be that you got to have your favorite cup of coffee. Oh, look, the list goes on and on and on. Whatever you want to be grateful for and whatever you are grateful for, that's what you write in your journal. So you can do that in the morning, or you can do it at the end of the day when you get to reflect on the day. So that's number one. The other one is a little bit deeper, and it goes into examining and being conscious of your beliefs around the comparison. So whatever it is for you, and I'm not talking just to you, Jacinta, here, I'm talking to everybody that's watching this. When you're doing the comparing and when it brings that ugly feeling in you and you're like, they've got what I want, examine that. What is that feeling? Where is it coming from? And because it's not necessarily just about this moment, it's about that belief that's living underneath, that's driving that comparison. What's the belief? What's the feeling that it's bringing up for you? And, I guide people through this when I'm coaching, but to do it for yourself, you just have to examine that belief and write that belief down. So most of you that would be watching, I'm not going to say all of you because not all of us grew up with Santa, but I guess, hazard a guess, the vast majority of us did. And we all believed in Santa. We all thought Santa was fantastic and totally 100% believed until we didn't. Right? That belief was so true and so strong. I mean, think about the emotions at Christmas time when the thoughts of Santa coming it was just so exciting as a kid. And then one day when you're 10 or 11, you might have started to be like, I'm not so sure about this. And then one day you just didn't believe anymore. And that's the same with all beliefs. All beliefs, we can do the same thing. We can examine them. Are they true for us? where did they actually come from? Are they my school teacher's belief? Are they my parents' belief? Are they my cultural beliefs? Where did the belief come from that I'm doing the comparing based on? And then sit with it and honestly ask yourself, is this true? Is this absolutely true? And if it's not, well then choose to believe something different. Yeah, easier said than done, right? One of the ways you can do that is you can journal through affirmations. You can flip the belief on its head and you can focus on that new belief until it becomes a part of who you are. As I said, sometimes it's easier to do this through having someone guide you, but there are ways. There are ways to do this yourself through journaling, through repetition. Keep telling yourself the new belief until it's true. So there you go. That is my way of acknowledging comparison, that it's natural, that we all do it, but really it comes down to a belief we've picked up along the way. And so my two antidotes, as I said, is one, being grateful, and the other, examine that belief and where does it come from. So I hope you found that answer helpful, Jacinta. And if, as I've said before, I really invite everybody else to get involved. If you've got something extra that you've found that works for you when you find yourself in that comparison trap, maybe you could drop it in the box below, wherever you are, either on YouTube, on the website, or in Instagram, wherever you are watching this from today. That would be really helpful. Thank you again. I've really enjoyed filming this episode, and I shall see you in episode 4. Thank you, and bye for now.